Hello, there we are. Welcome to a game between VirtusPro and iCCup. It is the first match of the day. We had a long delay, but it doesn't matter. We are here, and we are here with the first match that will decide which team will go to the winner's bracket and which team will go to the loser bracket. I have got a two-team squad here. Well, not exactly inside the game. Like, if you are inside the game and you clicked on my name, you see that K-pop was not there, but he will still provide stats because that's how pro he is. Also, that's how pro Vyrkomond is, because he is going to be my co-caster for this match, as I just gave him sound, and we are going to be jumping ourselves into the draft that is already on its way. Here we go. And Vyrkomond, welcome to the broadcast, finally.
It's good to be here, Sheever, and here at the Kiev Cybersports Arena, it's like 6.78C never happened because iCCup secure for themselves a first pick Treant Protector, followed by VP actually securing for themselves the two heroes most commonly used with a Treant Protector. So Weaver and OD already coming out for VirtusPro, while iCCup settles for, I guess, what everybody regards as the third Treant add-on, which is the Lich.
I love it because what you said, like, is so true. Treant Protector, we've mostly seen him with the Weaver, with the OD, and he makes such strong combinations. And iCCup thought to be clever, like with their first pick, they'll pick up the tree so they can combine up, but VirtusPro, they just snuck them away from them. We have got, of course, the IO, the Bat Rider, Darkseer, and Gyrocopter banned out, so that's not really all that surprising apart from perhaps the Gyrocopter. But yeah, Tree makes it through, and we have got the Lich picked up, so already some denying going on there from iCCup, making sure that at least iCCup maybe gets more experience than VirtusPro does. Yep. And we've got a Rubik getting banned out, as well as a Dragon Knight. I mean, for VirtusPro, even, like, they picked up these two heroes, they've already shown quite a bit of their cards right now.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's two core heroes. The Weaver is a little bit versatile in the sense that he can play either a off-lane solo role, a tri-lane carry, but VP actually usually runs him in the tri-lane carry. I don't think C actually favors the hero that much for the off-lane. There's also solo safe lane and then a tri-lane. All these are options for VP, and iCCup clearly think that VP will put C on the Weaver because they banned the Naga Siren fourth, which is another hero that we were talking about in the pre-show. We really talked about Treant, Weaver, and Naga. We're going to see two of the three here. Kanaz pointed out that he did call that Treant Protector would still be a highly valued pick, and at least from game one of the first set, it does seem to be the case because iCCup drafted it so early. I do still feel, though, Sheever, that they're going to need maybe one more hero that synchronizes well with the Treant to really make it worth it, especially with the new Living Armor.
They definitely do, but which hero would you now think that would... Oh, actually, Viper would scale very nicely for them. It's still very harassing, of course. If he's going to be up against a Weaver for some reason, then it would be very strong. Oh my god, Lion's new face. Wow. I hadn't seen it yet in game. I only saw it on a picture for him, but oh well.
It's pretty intense.
Yeah, I just, you know, jumping away from my previous train of thought, Queen of Pain Resolution, you also mentioned it in the pre-show. He was amazing the last time we saw it played. And he was like all over the map, everywhere, and up against VirtusPro as well. Just noting that. It's not just up against a random team, no, it was against VirtusPro. And I really like that.
That's true. Yeah, the Queen of Pain's that's a totally good point. It's gonna be a key pickup in this matchup as well. Both Resolution and Crazy, Tame My Wild, they're very strong on this hero. One of Tame My Wild's best heroes, as K-pop pointed out, and of course Resolution had a very, very strong performance with it as well. The only question is, where will the Queen of Pain be laned? Will she be up against the Outworld Devourer? And if she is, how easy is that lane going to be for her? Because, of course, it'll cut into her base damage a lot. Queen of Pain has about average base damage, I would say, and about an average attack animation. But if the OD continues to use Astral Imprisonment on her, she won't be able to Scream with Pain to generate last hits. She won't be able to Shadow Strike to generate positional advantage. And it might be a fairly difficult lane for Resolution, at least early on. Of course, VP, it remains to be seen whether they actually put the OD mid and whether iCCup will dodge it. But Morphling, this is something a little bit different.
Yeah, and I mean, you already mentioned, like, Queen of Pain have a tough time, and Treant Protector doesn't really help with that all that much because of the Astral Imprisonment. But yeah, we'll see how she'll deal with that. I'm actually thinking that Lich might hang around mid for a little while. Or, if they want to go really awkward. We have seen Morphling when he was, like a year ago, he was played solo mid very often, and I mean, he's definitely a hero that can do that by himself, and we might see that. We might see him just be on the safe lane, though. I mean, there's plenty of opportunities still left. And Morphling,
Sure.
overall, an okay-ish carry. We haven't really seen that much of him. But, well, I think he'll be okay.
Yeah.
Like, for example, up against the Disruptor, the Lion, he has escape mechanisms that he can get away with. He can morph into Strength so that the damage from Lion doesn't really hurt that much. And, of course, he has got his Replicate, so escape mechanisms all over the place. And he does very well, specifically up against the heroes of VirtusPro.
He does. I am interested that they chose to pick this Morphling directly into the Disruptor pick, because Disruptor, of course, can shut down some of Morphling's ability to escape and to survive by putting down a very well-placed Static Storm. It's going to come down to, at least early, how well Rstart and NS are able to rotate and utilize this Lion and Disruptor pick. Lion's a hero who is pretty weak early, but this is made up for in some respect by the fact that Disruptor really is a ganking machine if you can set up the right positioning for him. So if they're able to shut down Weaver, especially after Morphling, especially after Disruptor gains his ultimate, I think VP could be in great shape. But of course, there's always the risk with Morphling that Queen of Pain and Lich are able to generate space, and the Morphling spirals out of control late.
Very true. We've got a Clockwork getting banned out for VirtusPro. They know that iCCup probably needs an offlane. I say probably because we've seen Lich offlane and we've seen Train Protector offlane before, so in a way, it's not all that sure yet what they're going to be doing with it. And we have a Lifestealer for the last ban of iCCup, and kind of indicates again that they are expecting the Weaver to be on the suicide lane, but as we now see, Nature's Prophet gets picked up by VirtusPro. By the way, he makes it into really late. And I think that iCCup was hoping to pick him up. Both of these offlaners have got Lone Druid and Nature's Prophet as their most played hero. I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, Lone Druid would be good here.
Yeah, and KZI already securing the Nature's Prophet. Is it actually going to be a Lone Druid though? Like, is he going to have the time to farm? Because then you have and Morphling and Lone Druid. I'm actually thinking maybe something else would be better. Maybe and a Lich on the offlane and then put a different support next to iCCup.
Oh yeah, I mean most likely it will be the Lich offlane, Queen of Pain mid, and then Morphling, Treant, and one more support.
Oh,
but no, it's going to be something completely different. They're going to use the Lich as a support. The problem with using Lich in this way is you're probably denying XP from a lane that KSI can just leave anyway. So if Xi decides to just go to the jungle, the fact that you're getting that sacrifice is gaining you almost no advantage unless you decide to move it into something like a dual mid. Now, dual mid would be an interesting option. It robs Queen of Pain of some XP, but more importantly, it robs OD of a little. So maybe that's something that iCCup could look to do. And of course, we can't neglect the Broodmother herself. She is a hero that honestly is a little bit underrated just because the downside potential is so huge. If you start getting killed, like, you're just going to have a tremendously hard time with detection, and your Broodlings give the other team gold. But she does present a formidable pushing force. Treant will help a little bit for her to survive, and if VP leave her alone, especially because VP is so level-oriented, the Broodmother could actually get pretty scary.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how they are going to be doing with their one set of wards. Because, you know, when you could still buy two at the start of the game, you'd always have the offlane with one. And it makes super sense because if you are the Broodmother, you want to force your opponent to use the sentry wards on the observer wards that are blocking camps and such. And right now, is that a luxury that they can afford to actually use the observer wards that they have on the Broodmother? Considering, even though the ganking potential of Lion and Disruptor isn't all that high, it's still gonna be needed, kind of, to have rune control. I mean, we know that OD is a very scary mid. And OD is actually not even gonna be mid in this game. OD is gonna be on the farming role. We are gonna have a Weaver solo mid. That's gonna be interesting. Let's go over the players real fast to see who's playing what. We've got, of course, Xi playing the Nature's Prophet on the bottom lane. No real surprise there. Got pulled a couple of Calarities there. In the mid lane, we've got Tamer Wild playing the Weaver. On the top lane, it is a safe trial lane for VirtusPro. Illidan, or Airman Stormrage, will be playing on the Outroad Devourer, and NS playing the Disruptor, with, of course, the Lion as well, played by Rstart, and will be starting to stack and pull, which he can do freely because no wards there for iCCup.
Yep. And looking up towards iCCup themselves, this off lane will be taken up by Mag on the Broodmother. We'll talk more about that in just a second. Then they are running that dual mid that we talked about. There's going to be Resolution on his Queen of Pain, and then Always Want to Fly supporting on the Lich. And then that leaves the safe lane to be We Just Zik on the Treant in sort of a pseudo jungle role, although he's currently doesn't have access to his own creeps because of these Treants. And Jackal on the hard carry role as Morphling.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how that's gonna go. He did get pulled a couple of regions, so he was able to start with the raised band. But it will be interesting to see how he develops. Also, one thing I like, I mean, they were apparently expecting to have the Weaver mid, and I mean, they have got the sentry placed very early on, and they were able to, of course, with that, harass Tema Wild a lot, because now he can't Shikushi out of the... Oh, wow, what's that? Always Want to Fly, showing a bit of aggression. But yeah, he can't Shikushi away from the harassment that Resolution can throw at him.
It's mostly just a zoning effect. They want to prevent Tamar Wild from actually leveling, because this is the thing, I started to talk about this, but VP's lineup is incredibly level dependent. I mean, Disruptor after 6 isn't that XP dependent, but he needs to hit 6 pretty quickly, simply because the first rank of Static Storm is so important. And Glimpse has amazing scaling as far as its cooldown reduction and range increase. But Lion, I mean, I've heard him described by Aoi2000 of Dignitas as a ranged creep until he gets levels. And it's kind of true, he has really bad base damage, his stats are nothing special, and he really needs his Earth Spike and his Hex, and even his Mana Drain, depending on how you're playing the lane leveled, to be an effective hero. So for VP, this jungle is extremely critical. The mid for Weaver is important because he needs to level, and even Xi can't do too badly, or they'll just find themselves falling behind iCCup, even though they have a Morphling.
Yeah, one thing I just want to point out, Crazy or Tema Wild is sitting at 0-0-0-0-0. He hasn't gotten a single last hit yet. He is level 2. And even though, of course, Resolution and Always Want to Fly are sharing experience, they are actually higher level than Tamar Wild because he can't get close, he can't do anything, he doesn't have a bottle. I'm not even sure if he wants to have a bottle, as we have got a disconnect from Jackal, so we'll probably wait until he reconnects before we go again. But yeah, that's trouble. Xi, in the meantime, I mean, he is also up against a solo lane. But he has only got 2 last hits up against that Morphling. Morphling sitting at a solid 13-8, so also doing pretty well. And then the only lane that iCCup is, of course, should in theory be struggling with, and yeah, he is struggling. Mag is also still sitting at level 2, is also 0-0-0-0-0. So he is the only one that's struggling for iCCup, but the other 2 lanes are actually going in their way right now. The question is, what is VirtusPro gonna do? Are they gonna just capitalize on that top lane and to make sure that top lane is not just, you know, one, as it is one by default, but actually totally dominated? Or are they gonna rotate some supports maybe to help out Tamar Wild a little bit, or help out Xi a little bit, or rotate Xi into the jungle because he can't do anything bottom lane anyway, even though that will leave a Morphling to free farm? There's a lot of choices to be made for VirtusPro, I think.
Definitely a lot of choices, and I think most of VP's paths to victory in this game, or at least to victory in the early to middle, go through Disruptor. This is a hero that VP really likes to pick. It has a fantastic win rate in 6.78, as you can see, 65% overall. VP, a team that's particularly had success with it, they were picking it earlier than most teams, so NS is very familiar with the hero. And it's a very strong hero for this particular game, due to a number of abilities. The Glimpse is extremely effective. For instance, if Morphling attempts to replicate into a fight, you can replicate him out of it. You can also, the kinetic field is extremely effective. One of the problems with killing Broodmother is that she's so incredibly fast when she's on her webs. But if you put up a kinetic field, she actually won't be able to escape at all. She'll be stuck at the edge of that and not actually able to leverage her high movement speed. And then, of course, I already talked a little bit about the Static Storm, but that's a critical spell for this. Queen of Pain is so weak to a well-placed silence. Morphling is incredibly weak to a well-placed silence. So the positioning of the Static Storm in concert with the rest of the team is, I think, a tool that as soon as Disruptor hits 6, VP can use to just start 5-man Dota, start their team fight. Yeah,
no pressure for Ines, to be fair. He is already level 3.
Yeah.
So he did get some levels. He was able to stack and pull. Of course, that really helps him a lot in terms of levels. He's the same level as the OD even. I don't think he stole too much of the experience there. Lion has got a bit less priority in farm in terms of, or in terms of experience as well. And we see that, of course, Lion's still level 2. But yeah, Ines, he needs to be a very deciding factor. And I believe you talked about that during the pre-show as well, that Ines and Arsart, it's very different who is playing the 4 and who is playing the 5 role. Now, normally it's Arsart. But NS, depending on which hero he gets, which priority he has in terms of what kind of role he has to play. As you already said, Disruptor, important role. He also gets point number 4 at some points as well. And I think in this case, it should definitely be Disruptor over Lion, and Lion should be the hard support. But then again, then you have a Lion that is one of the squishiest heroes, and how is he gonna survive if he is gonna be the number 5? Oh my god, that rhymed.
It does, that's pretty good. Yeah, it's going to be difficult as far as farm allocation. I actually think that Disruptor is a little less item intensive than Lion is, so perhaps they do want to delegate a little bit of farm to Lion. Lion's also a hero who, as soon as he gets Finger of Death, if you want to give him the kills so he can get a little bit of a buffer, you certainly can. Like, he's... anybody who's ever played with this hero in pubs knows that he's an inveterate kill stealer. So I would suspect that VP actually, over time, will delegate a little bit of farm to Arsart and rotate him more into a 4 role, simply to keep this Lion alive and keep him putting out all of his CC in team fights.
Yeah, I agree. It all depends on, again, as well, when Resolution is going to be ready to take action. Is it going to be before that Disruptor and Lion are actually going to be making a difference? And I think, actually... Oh, wait a second, we might have a gank here, or at least Arsart comes in from behind on Mac. Just runs past him, doesn't really care. They know he's not really in experience range, he's a little bit in experience range. And the lane is actually pushing towards him, so he will get some more. And he is safe for now. But yeah, one thing here on the middle lane, like they're dominating mid, right? They're forcing Weaver back. I mean, he walks back to the base at level 2. Not just teleporting, no, he walks. He gets himself a courier, a bottle, and, you know, he'll walk back because he doesn't have a TP scroll unless someone buys it for him, which I don't think someone will. So that's, again, a lot of experience and gold missed, even though he wasn't getting anything to begin with. But iCCup in the mid lane are sharing experience with the two of them, and that means that Resolution is not leveling as fast as he might be able to, and that means he might not be active as fast as we hope for iCCup that he would be able to.
True. I mean, what they've been able to earn with this Lich is they've reduced Weaver's XP per minute to actually below 100, so he's only got about 70 experience per minute. He's stuck at the extreme fringe of level 2. And actually, putting the OD top has exerted less pressure on Mag than I thought it might. Mag is now out of mana, so he's not going to be able to put up any more webs or really be able to spawn spiderlings. So he's not able to exert pressure on this lane, but he has been able to get XP. The flip side is, as you just said, Sheever, the Queen of Pain will hit 6 much slower than she normally would. I think to iCCup it's an acceptable trade-off. The question is it an acceptable trade-off for VP? Yes, Queen of Pain will be active later, but what exactly are you going to do with this Weaver? I mean, the bottle helps, but if Tamar Wild can't sustain himself in this lane, an under-level Weaver is one of the most useless under-level heroes in the game.
Yeah, and then for VirtusPro you have a Weaver that, you know, he won't be active in anything. He'll be at some point when the laning phase is kind of over, he'll be farming somewhere on the off lane or, you know, somewhere where it's safe. You've got a Nature's Prophet that's already behind a little bit as well, and we'll have probably a Hand of Midas to try and catch up again, but again, he will be in the jungle. And then you've got 3 heroes to try and, you know, keep those 2 a bit safe, and those 3 are on a tri-lane right now, so they're also sharing experience, and they're just, you know, they're probably not going to be in any state to really 3-on-5 iCCup, because I say 5 because Morphling will be done fairly, or at least a lot sooner than, for example, OD would be in terms of items. We've got ourselves a Treant Protector that is always in fight. Even if he's not in fight, he will have that living armor, and he will be of a factor in fights. We've got ourselves Lich that's leveling at the same rate as Queen of Pain, so he'll be in fights for sure. Broodmother might not be in fights, but if VirtusPro is indeed with 3 people going to try to make space on the map, are they going to leave top? If they leave top, Mag will push in. If they put a Weaver next to it, that's fine, but then Weaver won't be getting ahead as fast as he would want to, because Mag is actually doing better than the Weaver right now. And it's just overall a very tricky situation, as we have, again, as you might have noticed, again, a situation, seems like there's something wrong with the full screen mode of Jackal. So, hopefully we'll have him back. Yes, that's
a tricky situation as well.
Yeah.
I feel as though the weak point, not only in terms of technology, but also in terms of the strategy of the team for iCCup, it's got to be this Morphling. I do feel that he's somewhat vulnerable, even if he gets free farm early, which his last hitting has been good. I would say good, not great. He's 17 for 11 at about 4 minutes. So that comes out to a little more than 4 last hits per minute. could actually be a slight bit higher. This lane has been contested, so that's why you see it lower. It's not a free farm lane. Xi is doing his best to interfere, and this is actually absolutely the right call by Xi. As soon as he saw that they were dual midding with the Lich, there's no way that this Nature's Prophet can be punished, because what's Treant going to do? Throw a rank 1 Leech Seed at you? So if you know you're okay, you can actually make sure that that Morph isn't going to free farm. So A, Jackal won't have his ideal farming situation. B, I feel as though a lot of VP's tools are very effective against him. They've got the Static Storm from the Disruptor, they can throw out a ton of damage from heroes like OD, and actually Lion is pretty effective against Morphling too. One of the things that people were expecting to happen at the International 2 that didn't was Lion used as a partial Morphling counter, because he's got lots of lockdown, which is sort of the one thing that solves even a very farmed Morphling, which is that you can just continuously lock him down with those very long dual disables. Those disables can essentially guarantee that Disruptor is going to land his spells, especially Static Storm, and Mana Drain, Lion's Mana Drain ability, will actually insta-kill Morphling replicates. So even if he has a very strong replicate of a Nature's Prophet illusion or a Outworld Devourer, Lion can instantly get rid of it. And this isn't just a pocket pick for VP, it's something they actually like. They've played Lion 11 times, and they have a pretty good record with it. Not amazing, but this might be the one game in which Lion is actually really effective.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the picture there.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. He looks like...
He's got like a little gem in his face.
Yeah, he looks like one of the people of... Okay, I'm gonna get a lot of hate now. Of Star Trek? No, not... Yeah, Star Trek.
Yeah, maybe?
But the guy is
I don't know who
green.
you're referring to.
Is green and he talks very polite.
He's green. Are you talking about Spock?
I don't know. No,
he doesn't look like Spock.
Spock is not green. Spock is the one with the weird eyebrows.
He's not green. That's why I was confused, Sheever.
Yes, I know. I don't mean.
I'm not sure who you're referring to.
There is one that is greenish, and he's definitely an alien, but he talks very polite and proper English.
Oh, sorry. I know who you're saying, but I don't remember the name.
Oh, good. Then I won't be, looking bad. Worse than I already looked, anyways.
I mean, the new face is a lot more feline. Like, for a hero named Lion, he was not lion-like in any way other than his name, right? Like, he was just sort of a pudgy little dude. And now he's pretty lion-like. This is a very feline face.
Really? Maybe,
what?
If he didn't have that eye on top of his head.
Well, the eye is a cosmetic, right?
I know,
That's not
it
his default.
shouldn't be there, though. Like, if they mean for it to be more feline, then they shouldn't have given him horns and such.
Well, that's the cosmetic too. You should Skype Sergey and tell him to take off his cosmetic right now while the game is paused.
Yeah, I don't think that works.
Probably not.
And he would have to die first in order for it to take effect, so... hey,
Sergey, please.
Could you
please
feed? I don't think that works.
Look, you're gonna die sooner or later anyway, so don't die on purpose. Just change the cosmetic now so that afterwards it'll...
Well, if they mean for him to look more like a lion or more feline, as you mentioned, then I would like to see a skin that would make him look like an actual lion. Because that would be hilarious. A big mane, please.
A big mane would be amazing. I would buy that skin day one.
And it doesn't even need to be the lion color. You can do it like the Scar lion. Like Scar from the Lion King.
Yeah,
you can make
like
him look like
mane.
Scar. You can make him have black manes, and you can give him a scar on his eye.
Yeah, that's a sick idea.
That is
a
sick idea. People that watch my stream right now and are able to make things, go make one. Thank you.
Yeah. Sound the Anuxi bat phone.
Yes. So how do you think that Brood is gonna do this game? Because I mean, I know that he won a game recently, an Alienware Cup, I believe. But
yeah.
I don't like him. I don't like what he does. I don't like what he brings in the game. Like, the moment that something is happening on the map and Brood is not involved, he's gonna start pushing and he's gonna be forcing every action away because he forces people back towards his lane.
Yeah. You don't like that?
I don't like that because that means that the fight is not gonna happen. I like fights.
Right. It does sort of create this dynamic where there's two active lanes at any given time, the lane that Brood is in and whatever the lane that the action is happening is in. I actually think Brood is pretty strong. She's a little bit underrated, I would say. Again, the downside is tremendous. If you're just feeding broodlings all over the place, it's worse to pick brood than to play 4v5. Like, there are certain situations in which it's actually worse than not having a hero at all. That said, I think the upside is also pretty big, and this is against a team who does not have anything special in the way of anti-push, frankly. Thunderstrike is okay, but if Disruptor, for instance, happens to use Thunderstrike on a Broodling, even by accident, you can just pull that Broodling out of the pack and not take that AoE damage. Earth Spike, again, it's fairly mediocre anti-push, as is Shukachi, etc., etc., so they're going to be relying mostly on Wrath of Nature, and in between Wrath of Nature casts, Broodmother can sneak in and try to do a little bit of pushing. I think as long as the early game goes okay for Mag, he's actually in pretty good shape to do some work this game.
Yeah, one thing that I'm gonna actually expect is that when OD and party reach respectable levels on farm, we're gonna have Team Wild rotated to the lane where the Broodmother is at, and I think that he would be able to, with his Shikushi, clean out maybe a bit of Spiderlings as well and just stay alive, and you know, there won't be any real fights there. I don't think that either one can kill off the other without any kind of help in terms of like detection for one, and maybe a hero to help out, but I don't think that's gonna happen. I think they're gonna be on the offlane, and I think that's actually good for VirtusPro if that's gonna happen, because it means that the lane won't push in that much because you have got a hero placed there. It means that Weaver is actually doing something, and is actually getting some farm, is actually getting some experience.
Sure.
The question is, are the other 4 heroes enough to protect the other 4 heroes? And it goes for both ways, obviously. Like, how is the 4 versus 4 matchup in this one?
I think VP feel okay about it. I mean, this was a very conscious choice to send the Outworld to the farming lane, because Tamar Wild and Illidan both play OD, and they actually both play Weaver as well. So this was a choice that they could have gone either way. They weren't forced into it by player preference, so it was a strategic decision. And the strategic decision they made is it's okay for Weaver to be fairly low level early in the game. They knew that he would be denied out. Maybe they didn't think the lane would go as badly as it actually has gone, but they definitely knew that it wouldn't go well. And they judged that it was more important for it to go okay for OD than for Weaver. Yeah. So to make that true, they're going to have to use this OD. Like, they're going to have to really leverage the fact that he is going to get a good amount of early levels. Now, what does this give you? It's going to give you very fast mechanism, so you can sort of start roaming around and creating fights, which against Broodmother is good because, you know, she's probably not going to rotate over. So the faster the mech hits, the faster the sort of Disruptor, Lion, OD can get their levels, get the mech, and start rotating. I think they'll be able to create a lot more space for Tame My Wild, at which point he's okay. Like, up until Broodmother gets her Orchid, which is going to take a while because she has also 0 last hits, Weaver can be 1v1 in that lane without any issues. So it should be fine.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious, like, a request to request to K-pop OD as a farming role. Is it possible to get any stats on that? Because we've seen him dominate mid lane so far, yeah. And I can't really recall a match that I saw him on the safe lane farming and really do really well later on in the game. Normally, we see him in the mid lane, and he gets ahead because he owns the lane, and he stays ahead because when he is ahead, he is doing massive amounts of damage, and he can totally snowball out of control. In an off lane, though, like, he won't get those levels that fast, and apparently, he is the highest farmer on the map, but he is not completely flawless here either. So, question is it going to be enough to just get farm and not get levels?
I would say VP don't really want to take this that late. There's a point at which they sort of all have their levels, at which I think that they want to be very, very aggressive, because the later it gets, I think Brood will start to become a force, she'll become a very scary split pusher, and Morphling, of course, will become more and more difficult to solve. Once Morphling can't really go BKB first, it sets him too far behind. But once Morphling does have BKB, this matchup changes immeasurably, because suddenly you can't rely on your Disruptor, you can't rely on your Lion, and even like Weaver is going to have a slightly harder time against the... Well, actually, sorry, I should say OD is going to have a much harder time against the Morphling. So they don't really want to get to the point at which Morphling has, say, Manta-style BKB plus one other item, because at that point it becomes a very tricky riddle for VP. Up until then, I think they're okay. as long as they keep pulling this jungle, keep getting levels for the supports, and keep Illidan farming towards that mechanism, I think they're going to be, depending on how they feel about the Weaver, they're going to be okay.
Yeah, one thing you hinted on just now is that Morphling, he probably is going to be BKB. No Lincolns or anything like that, a BKB, because you need to stop that OD from doing tons of damage. If he does get the farm up, BKB is the one to counter it with. BKB against the Lion as well. You don't just want to stop one of his 3 annoying spell. You want to stop all of them for a period of time so you can kill him, and then you don't have to think about it anymore. And I think that's also something that we're going to see from the Queen of Pain, and that, again, might cripple Resolution a little bit. Because we know him as an aggressive player, and it's really fun to watch, but if he doesn't have a BKB, like if he has to rush a BKB, he won't be able to be that aggressive as we know him early on, and
sure,
it might be forcing him in a direction that he doesn't really want to go, into a more later game carry. Semi-carry kind of Queen of Pain. Resolution.
Right. Yeah, we'll have to see how that is, because I know Resolution, of course, likes to... Yeah, there's very few players who actually favor a more auto-attack based role for Queen of Pain. I don't think it would necessarily be bad here. Again, Queen of Pain, a hero who will also need to build BKB. Unlike Morphling, I actually don't mind Quap doing a BKB rush. I think because she's more level dependent than item dependent, it's okay. Orchid, a fast Orchid would be great here, but you already know that the Broodmother is going to build Orchid, like almost certainly. So the pressure for you to also make one early is a little reduced. So we might see Resolution just rush the BKB, and that'll be their solution to early engagements with VP, is if they already have a BKB or 2 up, they may be okay to take those fights. I mean, that said, like, if Brood isn't at a fight, and if Treant is in a fight but low level, they end up with, it's like a 3v5, right, potentially, especially if C just TPs into a fight that's already in progress. They have 2 heroes that are most likely not going to be going to do that much in engagements. And VP, I think, as soon as they, again, they need their levels, but when they have their levels, they're going to try to take advantage of that.
Yeah. The question is, who's going to move first? Of course, we have still got the pause.
Nobody, because it's paused.
Yeah, it's a long pause too, though. Like, I think we've covered everything, and the moment that the game goes on is like, oh yeah, where were we? What happened? Nothing happened yet. Okay, it's only 3.5 minutes or 3 minutes 50 into the game. Of course, for people wondering what you are watching, I hope you all know this, because there is a big name in the bottom left of the thing. So you're watching StarLadder, Star Series, not just a match though. We are in the first match of the LAN Finals, so the teams are actually on LAN right now. Apparently there are some issues with one of the computers. Hopefully that's not going to cause more delays, as this game was already delayed by quite a lot because of the games that were happening before this match. We are going to have another match today as well, which will be Alliance versus Quantic, and those actually also conclude the 4 teams that are here in Kiev. And these matches will decide if they go to the winners bracket or if they go to the loser bracket. And tomorrow we'll have round number 1 of the loser bracket, followed by the winners bracket finals. That actually means that the team that wins the winners bracket finals is gonna have a day off on Saturday when the loser bracket finals are done. Do you think that's fair? Because they get a day off to totally, you know, study their opponents, because you can just watch the game at your leisure, no pressure about any other games that you're gonna play, and they're gonna get a winners bracket advantage with 1 game in the best of 5.
I actually like the day off more than I like the 1 game advantage. I think a day off for the winners bracket final is like a really good incentive. I think 1 game advantage is a little much, frankly. I personally prefer tournament formats that are like, you play 1 series and then you play it again, or you play a sudden death round afterwards if you win. Like, for instance, some tournaments do things like, it's a best of 3, and if the winners bracket team wins, they win the tournament, whereas if the losers bracket team wins, they have to either win a best of 1 or they have to win another best of 3 or something like that. So it is sort of like having a 1 game advantage, but it's more of a hype generating thing because you don't already have a team starting at a disadvantage. But I actually like the 1 day off. I think it's like, if you want to have time to study, then yeah.
I just think it's a bit too much to give them and a day off and a 1 game advantage. But it has been going like this for quite some time. It's just something I thought I would mention. And we have seen people coming from the loser bracket to actually take the whole thing. So it can happen.
Sure. When did Navi come out of the losers
I
bracket?
think in one of the seasons that they won, they did. Yes.
Right,
I really
right.
can't recall which one though. It was a while ago. Could have
Right.
been 4, but we'll see. We have got to reconnect. Be praised. So Jackal
Oh wow,
back.
we might actually, yeah.
Yeah, we might actually have a go.
One kind of cool thing is, so OD is really good with heroes that spam spells, and neither of VP's heroes really have that many spells that are just out and out spamming. Like it's not like a Pugna or a Dazzle, which is what we've seen Quantic use the OD with. But actually, if Lion gets a lot of levels, if this goes late, he can just infinitely spam Mana Drain, even if it does nothing to get full mana.
They're actually going to go on Mag right here. He's out of the kinetic field in time, but here comes still the Hex. Living Armor is going to be there, but there's an Impale. It looks like he gets away, though. That kinetic field, if that would have hit, that might have been a kill. But it didn't.
That was a really big kinetic field juke, actually.
Yeah.
He went left when the kinetic field came down, instead of going... If he had gone this way, he'd be screwed, but he went like this, and he managed to escape. So that's a very, very big play for Bag, just the fact that he managed to survive there. That's great, great play. But did you see how fast that living armor fell?
Yeah.
It was up and gone, like, instantaneously.
Yep. And did you see the rotation, by the way? This is interesting, because normally we see a team leaving the bottom lane completely open. We're seeing a team leaving the middle lane completely open. Resolution has got free farm. There's a Nature's Prophet who went into the jungle. We have got Timo Wild rotating bottom, be up against Jackal. He will be able to get farm there, so that's good. But yeah, I'm quite surprised. We also have, of course, Lich rotating then. He's actually going to deny some creeps top. And, I mean, what do you think about it?
It's honestly a really good move. They've judged that, okay, we got nothing for the Weaver in this early game, but we actually did effectively deny Queen of Pain quite a bit of XP, because she had to run this lane duel the entire time. So at this point, if we give her a little bit of free farm, it's actually not fatal. Whereas the Weaver, if he just stays at level 1 this entire time, is going to be, if he stays at level 2, is going to be a disaster. And this dual lane is relatively weak. We know that because Nature's Prophet suffered no pressure. So we can bring the Weaver in here and maybe do a little better. Although he's taking... just one auto attack from Treant is enough to get that pop-up of the... It's not the critical strike, it's like you took a certain percentage of your health pop-up. That's how untanky Weaver is.
He did not want to use his Tsukushi because he had that creep following him. But
yeah.
I wouldn't have blamed him if he did a Tsukushi there, because it was quite a hard hit there. And of course that brings up another point. We just Zik, he can still stack and pull to his leisure because... Oh, he's actually leaving the Illusion Rune? Thinking that, yeah.
That's weird.
Well, he thought Nature's Prophet was TPing in, so fair enough, I guess. But in the end, Nature's Prophet cancelled it out. But yeah, we just can stack and pull here, so... It's also going to deny some farm to the Weaver, but yeah, he'll get more than he would have in the mid lane, and he'll actually get something, you know, rejoice.
Yeah, it's very important for TMI Wild not to just stay at 2 forever, and the only question was when they would try to make a change to guarantee that. This is actually basically the safest choice VP could have made. It's that we know that our supports are probably not high level enough to, trouble for Mag top, a lot of trouble.
Yeah, he's in the kinetic field. This time he won't escape. The center ward is still there. He's trying to run, but he is hexed up. He is a frog. Limbs back into the hands of VirtusPro, and they will get the first blood. Thank you. He was almost safe there if he would have another weapon. But no, first blood goes the way of a lion, and apparently I can see who won prizes. Can you see that too?
Yeah, I don't... That's really, really strange, but okay. That's fine.
Yep, we didn't used to be able to see that, but definitely...
Congratulations, Shorin.
Yes, we can totally, you know, give shoutouts for people that win. I'm actually kind of jealous. Actually, no, I have my laptop open to see a preview of the stream. You know, it was needed for the pre-show and stuff. And now I will also...
Because you want epics?
I also can get epics, yes.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Well... Good luck to our viewers for your attempts to get epics. But if our viewers get epics, we'll know because it'll be in the chat. So
yes.
Maybe that's a patch change. I don't know, or just a bug.
I think it's a patch.
Anyway,
change. I change something with it. So.
Yeah, like Timo Wild actually is now really getting a lot of XP. Like he's still very, very behind relative to almost everybody on the map, but he's actually getting levels now. And once Weaver hits time lapse, life becomes a lot easier for him, frankly. Because one thing that we haven't really talked about that much. iCCup's team is next to no actual lockdown, which is part of why they went on avoiding... Oh my god, Timo took a lot of damage there. If only Jackal had accidentally leveled Adaptive Strike like he did the other day, that would have been a kill.
He did do that, that was funny.
He did. He's going Lincoln's, by the way, which we'll talk about in a second. I don't know. I don't really like it here, but
that's a kill.
Oh, nice waveform.
Why did he come back? Like, I was sitting with my camera on Jackal purely because, I don't know, because, you know, mindlessly having camera on people. But I really thought that Weaver knew he was in trouble and he backed up. This is a level 8 Morphling and the Weaver is level 4. You can't do that.
I share your consternation in almost all respects. I mean, he knows that he has to catch up on XP, but dying is not the way to do that, definitely. Meanwhile, VP, I do like what they're doing. They're pressuring the top very heavily, and Mag was actually a little bit slow to move his spiderlings there, so they took an unnecessary... Oh, haha, that's so unfortunate. Do you see that patch change issue there? He moved the spiderlings back in because he thought the Thunderstrike was going to expire, but as of 6.78, Thunderstrike has 1 bonus bounce, which he probably isn't used to.
Ouch. And we also have the Impale constantly going through. Living Armor will keep Mag safe though as well, as of course still always want to fly hanging around here. We actually have a haste from Queen of Pain. He wants to go for R-Start. Can he get it done? He does have his Sonic Wave. Mechanism was already up on Airman though, and that actually helped quite a bit. And I think maybe Resolution with this is going to back out, but he needs to be there to save Mag. But Mag is already dead. Eclipse goes down, and that is going to be Resolution blinking himself into safety. An excursion to the top lane that only resulted in getting his team member killed. Resolution will be back middle now, but that is not what he was aiming for.
Yeah, I don't know. That's what you get when you have a team with no stuns, right? Is that when you're chasing, you can only rely on how quickly you move and the fact that 2 of your heroes have blinks, Queen of Pain and Morphling.
Yep.
You just can't chase because you can't slow anybody down. You can't stun them. You've got Lich sometimes, and you've got Treants. Mediocre slow, but no stuns, and VP is taking advantage of that. One cool thing about this is I don't think VP really needs to go many BKBs for their heroes, frankly. A Force Staff for OD will be most of the effect of a BKB because it'll let him reposition to avoid Sonic Wave and Chain Frost.
Yeah, Resolution has found an Invis room, by the way, but we also have a Smoked Lion sitting behind the tower. Tama Wild and Lion are going to be scouted out though, and they're going to go in. Nice weave from up on 2. Jackal getting hexed, but it doesn't matter. In comes Resolution. He takes a Finger of Death. But he might actually go down. He will go down for it, but he got a double kill for that one, and Grats to get because he got some items for that one. But that is, I think, a worthy trade. Losing Resolution is still quite painful, but a double kill, of which Jackal got the experience too, of course, pretty nice.
He also died. One important thing about that trade with Queen of Pain is that he died when only Nature's Prophet was in range. Yeah. They care a lot less about giving Nature's Prophet AoE gold and AoE XP than they do about the Weaver. If Queen of Pain dies before Weaver there, even if Weaver dies, I'd say that's an extremely unfavorable trade for iCCup. But because the Weaver was first to die, I actually think they'll be fine with it, if not happy, because Jackal was there.
Yeah, I fully agree. He is back in the mid lane now, right now, crazy that is. He is up against the Lich. Level 6, so has got time lap, an extra save there. Resolution level 9 though, so the difference... Yeah, it's a bit scary for him. Still though, it's not looking too bad for VirtusPro because their OD is doing really nice. It's actually, he is highest on the net worth chart. He's got himself an assist and the last hit on a kill. So, and that mechanism, by the way, in the previous fight, of course, on the top lane made a big difference as well.
It did.
So yeah, I think VirtusPro, they're okay, but they need to just have some damage control on the Weaver because he died twice now already and it's not looking good for him.
I agree. That said, one of the good news for VP is that I actually think their XP situation is being fairly fixed. On the graph, they're basically even, and all of their heroes have their ultimates or better. We talked about how level dependent they are early, the fact that all these heroes want to hit 6, and they all are 6. Like, okay, your Weaver's massively under level, but they've got the Disruptor ult, they've got the Lion ult, and look how confident that makes them, pushing right into the tier 1 tower. Yeah. Oh, and S in a bit of trouble, though.
Is actually going to go down. There's no deny on the tower. Jackal's going to get hexed up the moment he came towards the top lane. Look at that. Nature's Prophet ult doing a lot of damage. He's actually thinking about weave forming, but... Yeah, no slows, no disables, and everybody in VirtusPro runs behind the tower, but as does iCCup. They're actually coming in a little bit. Jackal, I mean, there's no trees, you can just walk up there, but probably not the right choice. Jackal is going to be probably rotating back again, unless, of course, VirtusPro makes a mistake.
Here comes Resolution.
Which actually can happen. Resolution in the trees. Illidan chasing him down. There's the Astron Prismate already. Weave form is going to be going for the Lion there. Jackal might be able to do that. Tamer Wild came in as well. That's gonna be a kill going the way of Jackal. He can go into his replicant. He will do that, and he will go back into safety. In the meantime, the Sonic Wave will clean out. And that's a disruptor down. Maxwell's taking a lot of harassment. He is silent, and Eclipse picks him off. And Lich with that as well. A double kill for that one. Eclipse, really nice. Congrats to iHumpster, who saw 2 people of iCCup die. I guess that's probably not something that he would want to see, but oh well. Sorry, I automatically look towards the side screen there, so I see that happening as well. And that was, like, that Eclipse, that was a painful one.
It was a double kill right off that, especially the Broodmother. It was actually a really smart usage of Sandy's Eclipse, because Broodmother was only about a quarter second away from stealthing and then trying to run away into her webs.
Whoa.
Now that he has this, ooh,
that
really
was I was watching it. It was a finger of death. Train Protector was just standing there. Sprout wasn't even needed. That was just, yeah, lion power.
That's the levels, and the fact that Lich had to spend a lot of time dual laning and the Treant got pretty slow jungle farm means that now, I mean, it's a not very effective Treant. Jackal just chases them off, but again, he can't do anything. I actually would have loved if iCCup had delegated one level of Broodmother to picking up Incapacitating Bite. Even any slow is better than what they're dealing with, which is basically no capacity to slow the opposing team outside of Lich, who's very squishy.
Yeah, and who's been trying to stay at the back of fights. He's also level 6 though. He has got his ultimate, as he just sees a war getting placed next to his sentry ward. It's very nice of VirtusPro to give him that, because he wasn't countering anything before that. Resolution in the meantime, I mean, he is not doing as well as I thought that he might with the amount of free farm that he would have got. He is still quite high on net worth. Jackal is actually a little bit higher right now. He has got 3 of the 6 kills. He died once, so that might be a factor. And he's still going for the BKB first item.
Yeah, I do think that BKB first is smart. At this point, I think they badly need Treant to be 6, weirdly enough. That's actually the most important thing for them, for if they actually want to take fights. Because Overgrowth will keep people in place for a very long period of time, which is exactly what they need. They need immobilizing effects, and it's 3 seconds at level 1. Furthermore, well, it'll prevent some auto-attacking, which actually isn't a big deal, because VP is an auto-attack based team, but just the fact that they'll keep them in place is already enough for it to be the most important next spell for iCCup to have access to.
Yeah, a disable, just, you know, one. It's always nice to have one of those, as Tamer Wild is again on the bottom lane. This time though, he's not alone. He has Ness and Arsart with him, and they might be looking for some action. They placed a ward here, maybe be a little bit aggressive. Jackal is still showing that he's by himself. He can replicate, and he is gonna go to the base by the looks of it. I mean, he has got one of the replicates moving towards the base, but we'll see. And I mean, he is the only one bottom. Resolution is middle, as well as Always Wanna Fly. Where is Train Protector? Actually, Train Protector is sitting in the jungle right now, so he is actually, he just TP'd in, I guess. He is gonna help out. Should they go? But they're actually gonna go for the Ancients first.
Yes. And meanwhile, Airman just continues to farm. So the fact that he's in the safe lane and not mid has actually gotten him to get more farm than you would typically expect. He's at about 70 more GPM, so that's pretty good, honestly. At 15 minutes, an advantage of 70 gold per minute is worth almost, actually more than 1,000 total gold that this OD has that he otherwise wouldn't. And we talked about the Force Staff Sheever. That's actually out already with 1,300 gold on top of it. So this OD is just going to get scarier and scarier, as well as the fact, actually, interesting enough, did not level rank 2 of Sandy's Eclipse, but I think at level 12 he definitely will pick that up.
Yeah, one thing to note here as well is that you talked about Mag. If he gets an okay start, he'll be able to do a lot in this game. He might actually die here, because he is not visible. He doesn't have a web up. There we go. Eclipse might be there. No. I think it might have killed him, actually, but not gonna try.
It's tough to aim when you know they're going into stealth mode.
Yeah. But yeah, he died 3 times. Of the 6 kills that VirtusPro has, 3 are up on Mag, and that's quite painful to deal with.
It is, especially on a hero who, frankly, is somewhat farm dependent. And it's cool that they haven't had Airman leave this lane, because it's just a persistent amount of pressure. They actually don't have to rotate anybody to control the Brood, because OD kind of already has that on lockdown. But they're going to seek to catch him out here, and he dies immediately. Smart.
No Astral Imprisonment time for that one. Resolution just on par. And that's, I mean, we talked about him being the most farmed hero and doing really well. Wait a second, Jackal in some trouble. He can maybe get himself out of there. He is outside of the... He doesn't even have to. Outside of the Static Storm, I was going to say. He doesn't even have to go away. They're actually going to chase his Lich Ultimate. That's going to be brilliant if they just had vision, but they don't. But Lion still very squishy hero will end up going down. Tamer Wild and Enes looking to be safe there. kills, 2 kills in total on the way of iCCup, and nice rotations coming out from them as well. And one thing that I was gonna say, and I mean, killing off the OD is the most important hero to kill, is the most farmed hero to kill, so and you get a lot of experience from him as well, because he is very high level. He's not the highest level on the map, that's level 12, but he is level 11. Of course, giving some.
This is actually really funny. Resolution got the kill, and he gets a free tower destruction because the glimpse from NS actually put him back into range of being able to snag a DD rune and get an easy tower kill. So he's going to be a little bit shoutouts to NS for helping him out there. But of course, NS was trying to prevent them all from dying, so you can't blame the decision. It's just kind of infelicitous that it ended up the way it did.
Yeah, and on top of that, they did get a deny on the bottom tower. But all in all, Mag has been left alone on the top lane. I mean, people rotate away and instantly Broodmother becomes the Broodmother that we know exists, right? So he is starting to push. They took down all tier 1 towers of VirtusPro within 2 minutes. And now, of course, one of them was a deny, but that's still a pretty big blow to take, and VirtusPro is going to make it right by taking their own tier 1 tower. They might have to trade it for a tier 2 though. There's still fortification up on iCCup. There is no fortification, actually there is a fortification up on VirtusPro, they didn't use it. But I'm not sure if they should be trading a tier 2 here, because that's, no, they're not going to trade a tier 2, because they got the TP. TPs, I should say, because there's going to be multiples. OD maybe looking for extra imprisonment, but everybody backs.
And they'll mop these broodlings up because Mag doesn't want to make them leave. He actually wants to finish the tower. I think this might be a mistake. I suspect VP will be able to score a deny.
They're going to jump in. They are here with and Always Want to Fly and Resolution. They are going to try to get the last hit there. Who's going to be first? Oh, nice deny from an S. The second one that he gets. Nicely done. iCCup, they were willing to take that bet to see who could deny better, and VirtusPro wins that flat on.
Yeah, and Resolution does want to fight because he has a very fast BKB as well. 4 minutes ahead of the average when built first on Queen of Pain. 8 minutes ahead of the usual average for... Oh, Courier sniped by KSI in VP's base. And I don't know if you saw that, but somebody pinged the Courier as it was delivering to Jackal beyond the tier 2. And KSI perfectly timed the amount of time it would take for the Courier to reach the part of the base behind the tier 3s. And immediately TP'd in and brought it down. Really, really neat. Of course, it had already delivered the Lincoln Sphere, but... where I think actually the item after the Lincoln Sphere, but still, that's a nice Courier snipe. That's some free gold for VP who have to be feeling the pressure with that fast BKB on Queen of Pain.
Yes, and we know that Resolution is a player that can lay on that pressure, even just by being visible on the map or not being visible on the map, which is of course way more scarier. It is definitely something that he can put to great use, as he's actually gonna go back to base together with everybody else. Is Jacob Party in the base, which is great. We have the Treant Protector who has been struggling a little bit. He finally got himself level 7, and he is starting to build towards a mechanism by the looks of it. It's gonna be a really slow one though. Oh my god, look at this! Always Want to Fly demoted to Courier. He's got himself Mag's item in his inventory.
That's amazing, actually. And it's interesting that it's a Yasha and part of a BKB, so he's not going to go the Orchid. I think because Resolution got his BKB so fast. Yeah, that's why. Resolution is already most of the way to Orchid, so they don't feel the pressure for Brood to pick up that expensive item. They're just going to go straight for Yasha for extra move speed, even when she's not in stealth, and the BKB for her as well, because BKB, as we said, is so extremely important. It's so important, in fact, that even after Lincoln's, Jackal is still building the BKB.
Yeah. And you don't see that often. And the BKB
no, you
and
don't,
the Lincolns. But yeah, needed.
So, yeah, the Lincolns here, so when you see this happen, it's the Lincolns is basically being used as a farming tool. Because Morph is so stats reliant for Morph for everything else, and his Morph mana cost is now really high, he needs all that mana and he needs those stats. So that's the idea behind that. I still don't love it, but ooh, big fight coming up.
Yeah, Always Want to Fly. He's already gonna get dropped down. In the meantime, the Resolution comes in with his BKB. The Sonic Wave does not clean out NS, and he is trying to stay alive, but he will be able to. Nice Astral Imprisonment for now. Can he actually live further? No, he cannot. In comes Jackal. But that's gonna be the Queen of Pain still dead though. 2 Gem of True Sights on the floor. Queen of Pain had 1, as well as a Disruptor tier 1 tower. Will still end up going down. Jackal couldn't prevent that, but he did get the deny, so that's nice for him. And with that fight, of course, he got the kill. He also got himself the Minthrow Hammer, so he's a lot closer right now to his BKB again. But they did lose the Queen of Pain, and that's not something that you want to have happen right now.
No, I would say that's actually a very difficult and unfun fight for iCCup. They get the deny, but they lose 2 heroes, they lose the Queen of Pain, and they lose their Gem of True Sight. So that's not great against Weaver. I mean, you really, really want that to be up against that hero. You want it up for tower denies, you want it up for map control, and VP, with the additional map control that they picked up by clearing out these outer towers, is just going to take an essentially free Roshan. So that fight cost iCCup tremendously. They don't even have their next gem available for 7.5 minutes. Like, they picked it up just now.
Yeah, it is gonna be indeed a free Roshan, and a very fast one as well. OD, of course, with the Aegis, he's gonna be having a Hex soon, and I'm not sure if Mag can be of enough importance still to hold this game together right now, because with that Aegis,
yeah.
VP might be able to move on to some tier 2s. I mean, they also took down all the tier 1
Resolution.
towers. Resolution. Yeah, he is
what
getting
is he
hexed
doing?
up. He is getting completely surrounded, and he might go on for the second time. Did he have a finger of death? BKB gets turned on. He blinks away. He might be able to be safe. He has got that bug on his tails. Bug is already gone. KSI comes in though. 2 hits. That's all it took, and he gets a kill. Again, Resolution dies for the second time within a couple of minutes, and he was closer and closer to that Orchid, but right now pretty far away. Oh, Jackal.
2 BKB charges completely wasted for him as well. That's 2 charges he used for no purpose. Oh, there's the other problem with the Replicate. The OD pure damage from the Arcane Orb gets it adds a ton of damage when it's fighting illusions.
He just started to
Morphous
TP out, and the Linkus wasn't off cooldown just yet. He's gonna weave towards the high ground. There's the Linkus once again, but the Glimpse back is gonna put it right back in the hands of Arsart, of Airman, and Jackal will be brought down, and that is gonna be 2 kills of high importance for VirtusPro. And I mean, they already had the Aegis, so they already had the advantage, but right now the next fight that they can take is not gonna have a Morphling in it unless he buys back, which he cannot.
Yeah, this is just some of the choices of iCCup coming back to bite them. I mean, that Resolution, that was really just a misplay. He shouldn't have been out there when they had no control or no vision, and he got completely spotted out. Once you're using a BKB at 20% HP, you know you're in dire straits, rather than using it at the beginning of a sort of engagement or fight. So, unfortunate loss there. Jackal, it's really just a matter of the fact that, hey, these guys have tons of ways of destroying your Replicate. Like, the Arcane Orb will blow it up, the Mana Drain will blow it up, and then Linken's is 1 spell. And again, they have tons of spells. I just feel like this Linken's has contributed almost nothing to this morph. He hasn't even had the time to use it to farm effectively.
Yeah, in the meantime, normally would have Mag on the top lane, maybe threatening some tier 3s, and even though he is on the top lane, it's just not going as fast just yet. He himself doesn't really want to show himself. He has got almost the recipe ready for the BKB, just about 500 gold, sorry, 800 gold needed. He has to run right now though, because everybody's coming his way, and they have gems. Multiples even. And the Scythe of Ice is ready as well, so even just having OD there, he could actually, nah, there's not enough distance there. Because, yeah, if they find him now, he is dead.
Yep. And Arsart has begun the Reign of Terror, the Aghanim Scepter. So this doesn't become truly terrifying until level 16, which is going to take a little while for Lion, but even at level 11, Ags does a decent amount. We might see him hang on to this point booster for a little while yet before he turns it into the full Aghanims, but once he gets that, that's going to be a non-Morphling hero that's going to die extremely, extremely quickly. Whether it be Lich or Tree and Protector, but particularly Lich. I mean, look at Lich's HP right now. It's not a lot of HP.
Nope, 1200 almost. Oh, Jackal in some
Jackal?
trouble. He doesn't have a Replicate up anymore. It just vanished. He gets glimpsed into Kinetic Field. Static Storm there as well. Living Armor might help him out a little bit longer. Overgrowth as well. Should buy enough time, and he is going to turn it around. NS going to be target number 1. He brings him down. Arsar trying to TP himself out. Will be able to do so. KSI, though, he doesn't have a TP scroll, nor does he have his TP up, but they don't see him, and they will let him go. And he'll just teleport himself back to the base with his spells. Nice pickup though for Jackal. He really needed that as well. He's got his BKB ready with that as well. And it kind of made sure that maybe VirtusPro is not going to try that again. So he's going to be a little bit more safe.
Yeah,
until they use, sorry, Illidan.
The only reason Jackal didn't die there, he managed to get his morph off as he was being glimpsed into the Static Storm, rather than trying to start it after he was in the Static Storm. So he was gaining all that HP and all that strength even as he was locked down. Very nice play for him, but still, that was almost too close for comfort. He'll feel a lot more comfortable now that he has the BKB. Problem is, now he has 2 defensive items. Where's the damage going to come from? I mean, it has to basically come from Resolution.
Yeah, he is highest of the net worth. Sorry, Jackal that is. Resolution is second, obviously. The two cores of, or one of the cores of VirtusPro is a bit higher though, which is of course still Airman. But the second highest, or sorry, no, it just stayed around. Turned around.
Just switched, yeah.
Thank you. Xai is actually like he had a not too easy bottom lane, and then he rotated into the jungle. He got his hand of Midas, and he is pretty damn scary right now. He hasn't died yet. He's got a Scythe of Vice. He's got that Shadow Blade that he used earlier on as well. I mean, even if you have BKBs out in the middle of a fight, all of a sudden a right click from the Shadow Blade hurts like hell.
Sure.
So Nature's Prophet definitely turning into a pretty scary semi-carry.
Yeah, and they have complete control of the map due to the fact that they have that vision. They have that gem, the ability to use the gems to deward, the ability to just pressure. And Tame My Wild, for all that we talked almost ad nauseum about how bad of an early game he has BKB, and this is the exact correct item for Weaver in this situation, because even if he gets orchided, he just uses... Oh,
they're gonna try to fight. BKB for Weaver already turned on. Jackal is already almost dead. He is dead! That is a nice Eclipse going down there. Astral Imprisonment will actually save the life of our style for a little while, or our start, my bad. That's gonna be everybody of iCCup trying to flee. It's a 1-for-1 trade, which is very favorable for VP as they managed to get Jackal down and only lost a support Lion in return. They get a tier 2, and they actually back off themselves right now as well, but a good fight, and that is very scary. Scary.
Yeah, and that fight is the power of Lion against Morphling. Lion has a disable that he can shoot from the hip, so you can't so Earth Spike you can actually BKB as it's in the air, it doesn't immediately disable, but Hex does, and so he got hexed, and Morph, if he's not, he takes time to get tanky. Like, Morph is amazing against damage over time. He's amazing against teams that deal sustained damage. He's not that good against teams that deal a tremendous amount of burst damage, especially if he's disabled. So that Finger of Death Sandy's Eclipse, suddenly no Morph, suddenly, like, what is your plan to actually win this fight? You kind of don't have one. And again, Queen of Pain, the Orchid, just stymied by the fact that Weaver can just BKB through it.
Yeah, we have a new gem, by the way, up on the Queen of Pain, so it is the one that always want to fly bot for him. They find an S. They will be able to get a kill with that smoke. Really nice. They have to deal with some bugs, actually, and bigger bug comes their way, perhaps. He has got a double damage rune, but decides not to go on it. Maybe he's going to harass Jackal a little bit there. But yeah, I mean, it's a nice smoke gank, but you only get a support disruptor with that. Might not be the ideal choice. At the same time, I mean, this game is still fairly even. VirtusPro is only 3k gold ahead. We've got only 2k gold experience rather ahead for VirtusPro as well. Towers is only one difference. iCCup, they're definitely not out of this yet, but it is time for Brood to show why he is picked up.
Definitely, I mean, they pushed it to the tier 3, but this is always the challenge with Brood. It's actually fairly easy with a Brood mother to secure 2 towers. Like, if you don't secure 2 towers, you've just wasted your time completely, but that doesn't make the pick pay off. Oh, they might get R-Start, that's something. That's a nice kill, but...
Okay, so you are a lion, right? You're a lion. You're a support lion, you're very squishy, and you know that there's a Brood mother on the lane. On the other side of the lane, so next to your enemy's base, next to your enemy's tier 2 tower. But you think, you know what, I'm a scary lion, I can do this. I can take him down by using all my spam abilities. So you walk up there, spam everything, he's down to half HP, turns on his BKB, and 2 TPs are incoming. You're screwed.
Yes. Yeah, you definitely are, but Resolution now, maybe... Yeah, there's the Eclipse to seal it. Again, with these fast disables before iCCup can react, VP are blowing them up with magic damage before the BKBs become relevant. For a team... If I told you that, if I just showed you iCCup dying and didn't show you their items, you would probably think they had 0 BKBs. They've got 3, and they're not paying off.
Yeah, and they lost their gem again. In the meantime, Tame My Wild tries to do something here on the bottom lane, but just gets harassed away. Unless KSI comes in, they want to go for the Lich. The Lich is actually in a lot of trouble right now. Unless Jackal can save his life, lands his ultimate, but it's already gone again. Lich goes down, and they don't get anything in return. Reaches Zik in a lot of trouble, gets glimpsed back inside a Static Storm, tries to run. Can he get Invis in time? Nope, he gets hexed as well. That is another kill going away for VirtusPro, and like, he didn't have a BKB, but it doesn't matter. These hexes... And I don't just mean the Scythe of Vices, but also, of course, the one of Arsad, as you already pointed out. They're killing iCCup at the moment.
I think they can go high ground here. I don't know. That was an unfortunate needle threading by Morph, too. He tried to hit both players with Waveform, and he hit all of 0 players with Waveform, so that's just Not what he wanted, but not the end of the world either. The problem is, with no treant for the Overgrowth, has he even cast Overgrowth this game? I don't think he has.
Once.
Oh, here comes Mag, trying to turn it around.
Yeah, BKBs get turned on, and let's see what they can do. The
They're gonna get raxed.
Yeah, the Esper Imprisonment is already gone. And with 2 BKBs down, this is the time for VirtusPro to go in. The Rax is already down. There comes the Finger of Death. That's Resolution down once again. Always Wanna Fly gets 2-shotted by Airman as well. Can they find more? They should be able to, because they're all up in iCCup's base, and Mag will die as well. 3 on the sidelines. Jackal, the only one left alive to get it with the 3, and what can they accomplish with the 2 of them? Absolutely nothing. They'll see 1 Rex, 2 Rex, possibly 4 going down.
Yeah, VP in the past, one of the pitfalls that hits this team is I feel they're guilty sometimes of letting games go longer and not finding the timing to actually transition an advantage into a push. But this is the exact correct time for VP to push in this game. It's just as maybe iCCup starts to feel comfortable, starts to feel like they can get farm easily, now that they have all their BKBs and such, you punish them very heavily for the fact that they have no capacity to win a fight because they lack damage. When a Morphling goes Lincoln's and BKB, and your Queen of Pain goes BKB first, and your Broodmother goes BKB first, there's no reason for VP not to push, and they were able to take advantage of iCCup trying to find greedy farm. Like, again and again, like, the Queen of Pain death, the Morphling death, that was them being way out trying to farm on a map that they don't have control of. And VP transitioning that into just total dominance, basically.
Yeah, and they're gonna take a Roshan with that as well, and that Aegis will probably allow them to take down the tier 2 top and possibly even more. Depends though, because iCCup, they know something has to be done and they're gonna try to make it happen. I don't know if they can though. Like you already mentioned, where is that damage gonna come from? Mag has got some damage items. Might be enough. They don't find anybody right now. Everybody of VirtusPro is sitting in their own jungle. They're just gonna do the normal thing, just push the entire top lane out until they reach the tier 2 and continue from there. And at this point, if you lose to Rax, your downside is gonna be you have to go back to your base. You can't leave it alone too long because those creeps will push in and your tier 4s will be threatened.
Yeah. The other great thing about the nice thing that VP did in this game that I want to praise really quick is crisis management is in some respects the mark of a great team versus a good team, and VP displayed excellent crisis management with Tame My Wild. Like, as a team that's an underdog like iCCup, you want to sort of take one advantage and exploit it mercilessly, and the advantage here was, okay, Weaver's going to be shut out of the game. Look how much Tame My Wild has been able to do with a difficult start. He's now level 17, so he's matched with Resolution, and he got the 2 most cost-effective items he could possibly have picked up. BKB to make sure that Queen of Pain, the only source of damage on iCCup, and I mean, I guess Lich with the ultimate, can't do anything to him. And now Desolator to just help out their push, just give that extra edge of ability to clear towers and buildings quickly. And they're going for Mega Creeps. This will seal the game. This is iCCup's last chance right now to try to turn this game around.
Let's see what they can find. The Silence is already up, and Sonic Wave as well. Airman taking a little bit of damage, but not enough to go down just yet. In the meantime, in the back end, that's going to be Resolution going down. Always Wanna Fly dead as well as Mag gets hexed up, gets killed off. 4 dead, only 1 left alive, and that is of course the Morphling was able to replicate back to his fountain, but the GG gets called. It is VirtusPro that take game number 1 in this best of 3 to decide which one of these 2 teams will be going to the winner's bracket and which one will go to the loser bracket. You are of course watching the StarLadder LAN Finals live from Kiev. Teams are live. We're not live, unfortunately, but or at least we are live, but not from Kiev. But yeah, I have to say, I really thought iCCup had a very good shot, but at some point they just let it slip.
Yeah, I think they were unable to leverage an early advantage due to, so partially the lack of disables, lack of really good usable slow abilities. And in the end, I just feel like they took an overly defensive posture, didn't try to pressure VP meaningfully, and weren't ready when the 5-man came out from VP. But not a bad game by iCCup by any means. They displayed flashes of brilliance, but in the end, they come up a little bit short in game 1, and I guess we'll see in game 2 if they can go on. Are we going to do a little panel intercup
Yes,
between
we are.
games, Sheever?
Depending on how much time we get. But we'll check that out in a moment, so
Yeah,
stick
good
with
question.
us. There's going to be tons of content for you for the entire evening to come. As you might know or not know, there is indeed an analyst panel here for you. So let's just head ourselves over there. In comes the outro first, and then we're going to have the rest coming up. So stick around. More Dota 2 coming your way.